Oh, no, I'm ready.
This
I'm ready.
is the big bombastic 161st episode of Seddy Bimco, Part 2, The Revenge.
Tongue twister.
A tongue twister. And George, you picked the movie we're going to talk about. What was it called?
I did. Rounding out, completing our impromptu Sasquatch month, Bigfoot month, I chose what is easily the best of all four films, Bigfoot's Wild Weekend.
Yes.
Tim, you're welcome.
And before we get to all that, I have an age-old question about revenge, George.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see.
Listen.
I wonder how it would be about bidets this time.
You going to give me 4 stars, you think? I forgot to ask this.
I'm going to give it no stars. I know that the less at least I give is 1. I'm giving it full on no stars. I refuse to rate it.
Okay. Did the couple,
All right.
the couple who adopted a pope, ever get...
Adopted a
yes,
pope.
They don't really die.
A
they
pope.
just get...
They adopt. So when a pope dies, they actually are.
Yes.
This is the head of the Roman Catholic religion,
Yes.
right?
They don't really
Largest
die.
religion in the world.
They're given to
get
loving homes.
loving homes. Okay.
Well, did this couple who adopted a pope, did they ever get revenge on the Vatican for not telling them that he had epilepsy? Because they had no idea the flashing lights at the strip club would cause him to have a seizure.
It's Seddy Bimco, Part 2, The Revenge.
It's Seddy Bimco, Part 2, The Revenge, where we ask the question at the end of this movie, does this deserve a revenge sequel? Or does George want to tell us who from this movie wanted to get revenge? We're still working it out a little bit.
We're still trying to figure it out. I even finally got a chance to listen to the first of the episodes that we did this in. I still don't know.
It
what
was
we're
great.
doing.
It was just a list of why it should or shouldn't. And
List
then
of
you had a
some
story about
stuff.
cocaine.
Yeah, there was a lot of cocaine in mine.
Well, this show, one thing we won't talk about is John
I
Tyler,
thought-
the 10th president.
We already did last week, though. So can we drop this turn of a reference?
We're not going to talk about him. I'm just letting you know. You have anything to say before we zoom into this? No, really?
No. Wait.
Did you look at the Pee-wee documentary so we can talk about Pee-wee?
No, I did not.
Oof.
No, I did tell you in text earlier this week. I did have my first ever Seddy Bimco dream.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
Yeah, just to recount it for the listening people. So my dreams are often quite mundane, and sometimes it's just me talking to people, and I will kind of maintain a bit of my personality in the dreams. Like
Wait, George, I don't think you've
which
ever
makes sense.
explained your dreams in the show before. You're saying as
Is that true?
Yeah, I don't think you've ever
Okay.
explained your dreams.
So in this particular dream, oh man, Tim, it's gone. What parts of it have gone away?
You said
I was sitting in like an amphitheater. I was in the raised seats. I was sitting with some people. One of them was my old neighbor.
Okay.
And I got the feeling from context that there had been shows going on multiple nights in a row, and I was just joining her for this time. And she's like, yeah, the night before, W.C. Fields was here.
Yes.
Now, none of our listeners are going to know who W.C. Fields is. Tim, you probably remember when he first
Yes,
appeared, because he's an old-timey guy. He was a
I saw him on the
comedian.
vaudeville circuit.
Yeah. What was his shtick exactly?
He didn't like children. I think that was his shtick.
Was that his thing? Was he the one who said, "Get out of here, kid, you
Yes.
bother me"? Was that him? Oh, okay.
Smoked
Yeah, I
a
think he
cigar.
wore a hat. Anyway, he's old, and he's definitely in our world been dead for like decades,
Yes.
if not longer. But she said this, and I was like, "Wow, that's really amazing that he was here. I would have figured he was dead by now." And she was kind of like, "Well, I mean, if you want to call him alive, he's so old. Like, he lost like most of his limbs. He only had like a hand left." And I said, "Oh, there must have been a streetcar accident." Reference to Tim making
Yes.
multiple references to streetcars and the way that they amputate limbs.
Yeah.
And even in my dream, Tim, I thought to myself, no one's going to get that reference.
Well, I'm jealous because I've never met W.C. Fields in my dreams, either with or without arms and legs. So
You know what's interesting, Tim, is he never did appear on stage. I think my subconscious mind just kind of veered from there. It's as you heard just me recounting it, I don't know enough about W.C. Fields.
probably an armless, legless Lou Costello came on stage. You're like, oh, that's not W.C. Fields.
Probably. Are they contemporary? I feel like
Well,
W.C. Fields is
they're
older,
older.
right? Yeah.
They're alive.
Tim, serious question. Why do you know so much old stuff? Like, you are
I love
old,
old comedy. Come on.
but why?
It's
'cause
amazing.
It's not funny? Oh.
You know what the most beautiful depiction of peaceful sleep in cinema ever was for me?
The scene in Dumbo where baby Dumbo is cradled by his mother, and she sings "Sweet Child of Mine"?
Nope.
That's not. That's the Guns N' Roses song.
Nope. It's when the Three Stooges are all in the same bed and they're snoring and blowing that little feather back and forth between each other.
You like it because it was three guys in the same bed.
That too.
And you're like, that's my aspiration. Right. Seddy Bimco.
Yay. Dreams.
Dreams. Talking about dreams. Famously the most boring thing to talk about.
It is.
Talking about
Do you remember your first
Tim's
nightmare?
weird running
Do you remember
jokes.
your first nightmare? Can you remember it?
No, I'm sure you do. Tim has uncanny collections of his childhood. He remembers the first time he ate a hot dog. That's in the previous episode. What was your first nightmare?
My babysitter was an older lady who lived down the street. She's very nice, but I dreamt I crawled out of my crib. That's why I know it's old. And I peeked around the corner, and she would always play solitaire. And I looked at her playing solitaire, and she looked at me, and she was a monster. And then I crawled as fast as I could back to the bedroom and hid under my crib. And she came looking for me, and I realized I left my leg sticking out. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to see my leg. And then I woke up.
Because you're a couple of details on it. Tim's legs are detachable.
No, it's sticking out from the bottom of the crib.
You were kept in the crib until you were 26 years old.
That's what I learned.
Last days, your babysitter was Dracula.
Yes.
So it all checks out.
She's a nice lady. I don't know. There you go.
I thought you were going to say you saw her naked.
She's like 80.
Yeah, well, I
was
speaking
22,
of naked, that's a good
so I
segue. Yeah, so it's perfect. Harold and Maude.
Yeah, segue.
Yep.
Bigfoot's Wild Weekend, right?
Yep.
2012, same year that The Wrath of the Titans came out. The sequel to the remake.
Terrible sequel to the remake, to the terrible remake of Clash of the Titans.
You saw it, I bet.
Man, I believe Wrath of the Titans is a movie I turned off.
Wow.
It was so wretched. It was full
inaccuracies, I'm sure.
Well, this time I'm talking about the myths, but like the that was like 2012 was the height of like, let's not do any practical special effects. Let's do bargain basement computer generated CGI garbage for everything.
Right.
It's also, we haven't learned yet not to let Sam Worthington, is that his name in movies?
I didn't look at the IBDM.
He's only allowed to be in Avatar films. Like that guy,
Oof.
He was like Perseus. He stinks.
Poor guy.
Sorry if he listens.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. He's like, he stars in like some of the most like top grossing movies of all time. I'm sure he's doing well.
Speaking of Greek mythology and old movies, just to derail us a little bit, because I don't mind cross pollination. The podcast known as How Did This Get Made? They looked at Hercules in New York, which we looked at like 2 years ago. We talked about, I listened to their episode, and they pointed out what we pointed out. Near the end of the movie, Zeus just like and Hercules asks for help, and he sends like Samson to help. Remember, it's just like, oh, Samson's here's helping him too, and they were like, wait,
he sent a couple of strong
he's not from Greek mythology. We were like, yeah,
wasn't it Samson and Atlas?
I think he's from the Bible. They pointed out Bible stories.
Yeah, that movie's that's a bad movie.
They loved it, and I loved it. I love that movie.
Yep.
Anyway,
well, because you loved it because Pretzi was in it, and he's old and not funny, and you're like, that's my sort of guy.
That's what they love too. Pretzi, who sold pretzels. Go back and listen.
Pretzi.
Hercules.
Oh, yeah. Go listen to listen to our version of it. Listen to How Did This Get Made's version. Listen to the undoubtedly upcoming version by Bat and Spider. Tell us which of the three you like
Try
best.
it out, Bat and Spider. I dare you.
Yeah.
Hercules in New York.
Spider. Yeah, you'll be confused by all those strong, muscly men. I don't know what that means. That sounds, I don't know.
Well, this movie.
All right. Yep.
I have one more question, George. I'm full of questions. I'm sorry.
Yep. You are. You're also, you
2012.
Really are.
Now, this movie, people, is basically a Skinamax movie. Lots of ladies taking off their shirts. And
I wouldn't say it's quite Skinamax, but there is a lot of toplessness.
But in 2012, you could go to the internet and see naked people. So I'm not sure why a movie like this is made where it's like, oh, it's a monster movie, but also, hey, there's a lot of naked ladies in here. I don't know. I just wonder.
I will say.
Who's the audience?
Well, I will say, I'm going to blow your mind a little bit. I feel like in 2012, because it was the age of the internet, I don't think this movie probably got a wide theatrical release. No. I think this movie has mostly been viewed on the internet. Yeah. So I think this is the sort of movie where a person who likes to watch Bigfoot will be like, you know what? I want to put some Bigfoot movie on in the background while I do other things. Maybe I'll be cutting my toenails. Maybe I'm sorting my stamp collection. Maybe I'm just staring blankly at the TV, wishing for a better life. But I don't mind my little bits of Bigfoot being interspersed with occasional toplessness.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wonder.
And that's who I think was the audience for this
It
one.
is supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah, and there are parts that are comedic.
There are. I think I'll get
Yep.
to the part where I thought I laughed, but there's not.
You thought you laughed? You
not
weren't
too
sure?
many. Sorry.
How high were you when you watched this, Tim?
Not. I just watched this.
Were you having an out-of-body experience? You're like, whoa, did my mortal shell just guffaw?
That was last week's film where I was pretty high with the Mount whatever. Curse of Mount.
Yeah, the
McAuliffe.
movie with 1,000 different names.
Did you read the only fact about this movie that I read?
Oh, I realized as I opened up the notes for this, Tim, I didn't do any research on the movie, which is I know is atypical.
There's no Wikipedia page. I just found one fact.
Yeah,
I found one fact.
What is it?
Most of the adult film actresses who auditioned were rejected because they couldn't remember their lines. Instead, they hired day dancers from a local strip club. So that's my only fact I know about this movie.
Tim, what is a day dancer? Is that somebody who has the daytime
Yeah,
shift?
I think so.
Okay.
Do you think nightclubs?
Okay,
there's. Strip clubs. They're open 24 hours. I think.
Are they?
They have the same theme as New York.
I feel
the club
like
that never sleeps.
I don't think I'd want to see like the 9 a.m. Sunday morning of a strip club.
No.
I feel like that's just going to make me feel bad about humanity.
I've heard some people go to lunch at the strip club.
I know.
Saw that in
I
Sopranos.
know strip clubs. A lot of them have buffets, right? Isn't that like a law, or like that's some sort of way that they do it? They have like a strip club buffet, so you can go there and you eat like
That's
all you
not
can
legal,
eat
is it?
ziti while you're
That's
looking
not
at.
legal.
I think that's a thing they have to do. Maybe it's only in New York,
No,
or maybe it's in Las Vegas. I don't know.
George
Folks,
knows about this.
If you know more about strip clubs, please write to us. I know about burlesque. I'll tell you about burlesque.
Sometimes
I like my stripping with la-ti-da, little fanciness.
Yes. Sometimes host Kevin Cablasto, write in. Tell us about the strip club life. The strip club. Wow. Strip club world.
Wow.
It never sleeps, right?
Tim,
if you can make it at a strip club, you can make it anywhere. They have the same
Tim, I have
slogans
a
as New York
question
City.
too.
Yeah.
They do. They call themselves the Big
Yes.
Apple. Here's my question, Tim. Is this already our worst episode?
Oh, this is great. What's happening?
I feel like it is. So let's talk about the movie. So the movie, as Tim has said like 4 times so far, 2012's Bigfoot's Wild Weekend. And it starts off, we see a couple of bikini babes, and they're having a semi-clever conversation about different memory stimulants they could take, but they keep calling them in different words. This is a running joke in this movie. At several times, people mispronounce stuff. I wrote down a couple of them, Kiki Balboa and Gecko Bonobo. Yes. I'm like, all right. And then there's a guy, an old man fishing at the same time. It's unclear if they're supposed to be occupying the same space. And I would say within minute 2, we have our first toplessness, because the girls who are like in the water, they're like, hey, let's take off our tops. And they're topless, and they're kind of like, I'm going to say, but like not enthusiastically. Like you could practically hear the creepy director like just right off screen, like, good, splash, splash. Like, okay. It looks cold. It looks unpleasant. I feel bad for these
I didn't
actors.
look at where it was filmed because we don't do that anymore. But
I purposely, as I said, I didn't research anything. I imagine this was filmed someplace where it was warm in the air but cold in the water, because every time people get in the water, it looks like they are cold.
Why, George? Why do you think the ladies are cold?
Because it's water.
Yeah, but how can you tell they're cold?
Oh, I see what you're saying, Tim. It's not just the most obvious and dirty reason Tim's thinking. It's just like their movements in general. You could tell. Have you ever had the experience, Tim? You go to the beach and there's like 2 zones. You're walking out into the water, and like when you get up to your bathing suit and like when it soaks into the water and immediately rushes up, that's always a rough part. And for me, it is the nipple line. Once I get to the nipple line, that's hard. I'm like, I have to kind of fling myself into the water.
You have issues with nipples.
I do. And speaking of nipples, we see their top floating away, which I wrote as a note, but I don't think they came to anything.
Many things don't come to anything.
Yeah, it's like this movie has
no, I think
the air.
Sasquatch picks it up. I think.
Oh, at the end, you're right. They find his den full of
that's the
tops.
Sorry, spoilers.
And so we see the fisherman. He gets a bite. I thought he was going to get the bra.
That's what I thought.
He doesn't. He gets a fish, I guess, that just gets away, and he turns around and his cooler's gone, but there's a big old footprint there. And then we come back, and the topless women have been drinking beer, freezing, very cold. They see Bigfoot. They invite Bigfoot in to swim. He is clearly a Bigfoot. He is an 8-foot tall monkey man. And he drinks beer with them and he jumps in with the topless babes. And then it goes to credits.
Yeah, they don't care. He's just a party Bigfoot.
Nope. He's just a party Bigfoot. And so I will say, out of the 4 movies we've done during Sasquatch Month, this is sadly easily the best Bigfoot costume we've seen.
It is. It's pretty good.
The face isn't great.
No.
It looks like just a kind of like stiff monkey face sometimes. But like the body's good. Like it's real. It's huge. Whoever's playing him is very big. They put on pads in the right places. Like if they had taken this costume back to 1969 and Patterson Gimlin filmed this one, I would be more inclined to believe in Bigfoot than I am with the kind of sad person wearing a carpet they did. Yeah.
Now we go to reform school.
Yeah. Well, it took me. Did you catch the name of the reform school?
I missed it. What was it?
Oh, Tim, this really sets for listeners at home who have not watched Bigfoot's Wild Weekend. First off, go watch Bigfoot's Wild Weekend. It's available on Tubi.
I can't recommend it.
The reform school is called the Hyman Reform.
Oh, I did not see that. Oh my God. Yeah. It's all girls, by the way, if you get a guest.
And by all girls, it's 4 girls. They have their coach, Mrs. Pepperdote.
Pepperdote.
There's a driver who kind of has an English accent that comes and goes.
I thought it was Australian.
And it might have been Australian. You're right. It's kind of iffy. It's iffy all around, I'd say. And there's like 3 girls in like kind of like the small little running suits. Mm-hmm. I guess they're the mean girls. And there's like one girl who's like definitely a nerd girl. Like they deck her books and stuff. Marianne's her name. Girl. Yeah.
She's reading about cryptids right from the start.
Right. Yeah. And like this is what like this movie. It's one of those films like what we saw was it last week? Was McCullough Hill last week?
I think so, because I picked it, yeah.
Yeah, they sprinkle in a lot of like real cryptozoological knowledge. Like the people who wrote this, who made this movie, like props to you for like, being clear crypto nerds. Like you're not just kind of vaguely doing a Bigfoot. Like you're doing the work. You've delved down the same deep internet holes I have, reading about the same fake monsters, the mythology, the lore. It's all here. And Marianne the nerd is she's the one giving it to us. Her and the cryptozoologist who kind of appears and then disappears from the film.
Is that what he was? He seemed drunk.
They call him a cryptozoologist. He seemed like he was drunk in real life, and I think the reason he doesn't appear anymore is the filmmakers had to take him out in the woods and leave him there to get rid of him.
So we get a shot of a guy who works in a newspaper, and he hires. Yeah. Well, he gets. I don't know the name of the man who owns the newspaper, but he sends James Harlan. Is that his name?
Reverse it. It's Harlan James.
Harlan James to go look into this Bigfoot sighting. This man that got his beer stolen.
Yeah, because this is hot news. The newspaper. It's not a newspaper. They even specify it's a tabloid. It's like Weekly World News. It's called the Tattletale. There's a lot of funny newspapers in the background. Yes. We see like aliens land at UFO nudist camp and so Harlan James. Let's just describe him. I guess Harlan James. I at this point thought Marianne was going to be our main character, but she disappears from the film.
Well, they do in a little while. Spoilers, George.
Yeah, Harlan James is, I guess, one of our 2 main characters. He is I would say he's a hapless nerd.
He's a goofy Jimmy Olsen. I would say, except he's a little more muscular.
Yeah. Ooh, Tim. Tell us more.
We see him with his shirt off later. He's just got more muscles than Jimmy Olsen. Yeah. That's saying Jimmy he Olsen has muscles.
I'm going to say Jimmy Olsen's pretty buff.
Which one?
Tim, in the, I'm talking about the comics because in the 30th century he becomes a member of the Legion of Superheroes as Elastic Lad.
Okay, is that true? You can be blind to me. I don't know.
No, it's absolutely true. He drinks a potion that makes him rubbery.
And fly to the future.
Well, he joins with his friend Superboy. That's weird, actually, because he only knows Superman. Why is he hanging with Superboy? That'd be weird if, like, you and I were hanging out one day and then, like, teenage Tim Hamilton came. He's like, hey, guess what? I just came from the future. Want to come with me, George? I'm like, sure. And I go to the future and they give me a stretchy potion. And I'm showing off my muscles. And you're like, you're much more muscular now. And I'm like, what's going on, teenage Tim Hamilton? You're like, I'm the greatest hero of the 20th century and the 30th.
Yes. Wait till you see the future.
Do we lose all our listeners?
There's a lot of new Star Trek shows, George.
Oh my God.
I want to show them to you.
Whatever you do, don't read the newspaper, though. First thing I do if I go to the future, Tim,
don't say
I would steal an almanac of sporting goods, just like Biff Tannen did. Yeah. But I wouldn't know how to bet on it because I'm not good at betting. I'm also not good at sports. So I would just use it. I don't know. I'd probably just go to the future and steal porn.
Why? What's the difference?
Because I figure in the future we'd have an extra 1,000 years of evolution. Okay. Who knows?
It'd be alien to
Multiple
you.
bits.
Be alien to you.
So the report, the chief, he's a bad editor. He's not Perry White. He's not even J. Jonah Jameson. Nope. He sends Harlan Jameson to a place called Skull Mountain, which is apparently where these people have been skinny dipping, to meet Sheriff Bubba Lopez. And he tells him, Ed, give him $25,000 for any info that leads to pictures or a corpse of Bigfoot.
Do I need to play the music?
And Tim, I was good at play the music, but I'll tell you what, I forgot to look it up. So
I'm not playing the music then.
Play it anyway.
Wah, wah.
George's current wah wah. Yeah. So, folks, if you know, tell us, because I'm not going to look it up because it's boring. All right.
Reform girls go to the woods. That's what I have here, right? Reform schoolgirls go to the woods.
I have goobers and so much guns. Oh, because he goes in, because we follow Harlan into the strip joint.
Oh, yeah. I kind of missed that. He meets the sheriff.
We see a bunch of I guess it's a bunch of day dancers dancing in the background.
Yes.
And he meets the sheriff, and he's telling some
dudes. I want to say it seems like a biker bar out front, but inside seems a little nicer. It was odd. Did you notice that?
Tim, I'm just realizing, Tim, I had written a bunch of notes that got accidentally erased.
No, I hope it wasn't a list.
Oh, this got moved. Here it is. Okay.
Jesus. So you did write.
Harlan walks up to a biker bar, tries to fist bump biker drinking out in front.
That's right.
The bikini ladies are dancing. He's supposed to be Sheriff Lopez there. He orders a root beer because I guess he's supposed to be a nerd. I don't know. I don't think it's that he's sober. I think he's just supposed to be like
he doesn't look like that nerd.
A nerd.
Because he works out. He's like an adult.
There goes Tim mentioning those muscles.
He's like an adult person, 21. Seems like we're older.
You know, Tim, you and I, we're considerably older than 21. We're both pretty big nerds.
Yeah.
We do a podcast called Seddy Bimco Part 2: The Revenge. We're big fucking nerds.
Yeah, but
yep.
Anyway, I didn't know what the root beer had to do with anything.
Yeah, I think it's just he wants to get his ass kicked by all the tough bikers. There's 3 like goobers at the bar. They're like, "You stared at my woman," as he's watching the woman dancing. And then the 3 bikers apparently all thought they were dating this woman, so they get in like what is the lamest. Yes. And I know that's an ableist term.
I call them Larry, Daryl, and Daryl. Is that right?
Is that from Newhart making a reference that nobody's gonna get? Nice.
People get that.
I said it was this. I said it was a sissy boy shoving contest. Harlan mentions the reward, the $25,000, which we don't know what that is the spending power of now, but it's only 2012. It's probably like
those guys run out of there like the Three Stooges. They make those sounds. And everything.
And then they get a bunch of guns. That was my notes that I got.
Well, then Harlan talks with the sheriff, and
he's like, "Don't tell them about their reward."
Can you imagine what these hillbillies will do if they think they get this much money? And George,
I feel like this. Yeah. Oh, list.
He says, "Don't tell them about that money. They'll do all sorts of crazy stuff." So here's a list of things that he thinks they'll probably do. He thinks they might get wildlife books out of the library so they can set them on fire and keep Bigfoot at bay.
Why wildlife?
They won't sell their Bob Seger albums, but they are willing to part with their Silver Bullet Band albums.
Isn't that his backup band? Okay.
And they're liable to shoot their feet off in boating accidents. There you
go. Reference to past Seddy Bimco episode.
Bigfoot episode.
Yep. Tim, I have a question for you. When you wrote this list, were you sitting in your house looking at your collection of Bob Seger albums, looking at your wildlife books, being like, I got to get my ideas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he did split up with the Silver Bullet Band. He could no longer.
That's good to
no
know.
longer hunt vampires.
Can we please never mention Bob Seger again?
Sorry, he could no longer hunt werewolves, and I won't mention them again. Are they bad people?
Tim, it's both. I feel like they are the epitome of fart rock to me. Like I'm just like, oh. And by the way, Silver Bullets, as we all know from watching Blades, it also works on vampires.
Okay.
A lot of overlap between the werewolves and the vampires.
There is.
Yeah. They both got sharp teeth.
Which brings us to our next segment.
They both hunt at night.
At night. Haunt at night?
Yeah. Hunt at night.
We get to see an amazing, thrilling dance competition between 3 ladies who all dance the same, who all wear basically the same clothes. I think one of them wears a red swimsuit. I don't know. Yeah.
And it's also, it's filmed in a weird herky-jerky manner. Didn't get that.
They all get the same applause. And at the end, he goes, well, I guess number 1 won. And then the other girls tackle her because they wanted to win. I guess that's funny.
Because the prize was to spend a night at the Black Elk Lodge,
which plays a big part in this movie, which doesn't come to much.
Which I thought this would come to something too. I watching this movie, I'm like, oh, clearly she's going to be the love interest for Harlan James. Yeah. She's going to be spending the night there. Nope, none of this ever comes up again.
Well, George, none of them danced better than the other one, did they? You saw it. They're all the same.
I would say, well, it was hard to tell because of the weird herky-jerky way it was filmed.
Well, I know how she won.
How'd she win, Tim?
Because she was wearing her Bob Seger silver bullet.
Oh, God fucking damn it.
Perfume.
Are you really going to... It just sucks. It sucks. It just sucks.
Earlier, she urinated on the stage, thus claiming it as her own.
Okay.
She was the only girl on stage that night whose blood was pure hillbilly and not mixed with city feller blood.
All right.
There's 3 reasons why she won.
That was a list? Okay.
No more Bob Seger. Poor George. You got to take it and run with it. You give me vampires, I'm like, sharp teeth.
Yeah, that's fun. Vampires are fun. Bob Seger,
he kills vampires.
Bigfoot, fact or myth?
Now we go back to the Hyman girls who were camping in the woods. And just remember, there's the 3 mean girls, but I guess there's only 2 mean girls because one of them is actually friends with Marianne the nerd. Yeah. And they have a tent. The 2 mean girls have a tent together. Mm-hmm. Marianne and the 3rd girl have a tent together. And I guess the Mrs. Pepperdote or whatever her name is, the 2 boss ladies have a tent together. And they're telling ghost stories. One of them was just confessing to being a hook killer or something. And Marianne tells them about Bigfoot. And these girls have somehow never heard about Bigfoot.
I believe it.
They keep mentioning how badly he smells. Yep. And just that. It's just this whole thing. They've never heard the term Sasquatch.
Nope.
And they it's a kind of, again, just like at the beginning, it's a bit of a running joke. Where they say stuff like, what is his name? Scotch Rod and stuff.
Did they say that?
Yeah.
I couldn't.
So Tim, I actually went through and I wrote down, this is my list. I wrote down all the different ways that they mangled the word Sasquatch. Yes. All right, you ready? Good Emperor. Number 1, sandbox.
Nice.
Number 2, Saskatoon. That one, we've all done that one. Number 3, Sanskrit. Number 4, sack squat.
Yes.
Number 5, scrotum.
What?
Number 6, sassafras.
Nice.
Number 7, this one's for all you Harry Potter fans out there. Quidditch. Doesn't sound anything.
There are no fans out
there. There are, unfortunately, but they're bad people now. Number 8, sex squash the melon fucker. Yeah. Number 9, squatch.
Okay.
And the number 10 mangling of the word Sasquatch to appear in this movie, Tim Hamill.
I knew I was going to say.
Yep.
How would I be last?
Yeah. So they go to their tent. The 2 mean girls get topless and start making out.
They start making more noises than is necessary. They're just kissing.
Yeah, we're clearly watching. They're just kissing. They're not even feeling each other up. And one of them, her name is Morgan. It's she's making full on orgasm noises, and it becomes a joke where the other 2 girls hear what is that? An owl?
Is that Sasquatch?
I'm like, is that sex squatch? The melon?
Is that
fucker?
orgasm squatch?
It's just that. Is that Tim Hamilton?
Yes. And Marianne,
right.
She won't take her. Does she take her top? No, she won't.
That's later.
Sorry.
Yeah, Tim. There's a lot of tapas in this movie. You'd be forgiven for confusing and conflating the incidents.
I respect
because we actually pick up again with Harlan. Oh, you don't respect people who take their tops off, Tim? You're going to make that? You're going to throw that out here?
Well, they were so willing to let go of their tops. Marianne, at least.
So you think that's bad, just to be free with the top?
Don't be so free.
Folks, address your hate mail to my prudish and puritanical co-host, Tim Hamilton. You could do it at Seddy Bimco with an E at the end at gmail.com.
Yes.
We pick up with the sheriff at the hotel. He's picking up Harlan to go drive him out to interview.
At this hotel everybody seems to like.
Yeah, well, it's the only site they got credit for, I guess. Not credit for, permission to film at.
And he looks at Harlan looks at the police car. He's like, ooh, old. The police car is so old. But
he likes it. He's like,
what
sweet
was
ride.
That about?
Don't get it. I don't know. It's funny you mention that because like that was one of those things. Like if I could type faster, I would have written down that thinking it was going to end up as something. But
you know how old that police car was, George?
Oh,
so old. It still has a black only section in the back seat. It's so old. The air freshener is scent of asbestos. It's so old. The manual in that car still has a section about how to safely stop and rescue President Roosevelt if his wheelchair is careening down a hill.
Wow.
This movie was tough. Oh, here's a note. I should leave this one out.
I want to make you go back to writing sequels because the amount of list you put in,
2.
I feel like the quality is getting diluted. That's 2 so far. There's going to be more, and I feel like there's enough material for maybe 2 good lists, but we'll probably get 20.
No, George is like,
and it's diluted.
3
it's
at
like
the most, and you're always worried.
We'll see. So they're driving along, the sheriff and Harlan. They pass by a scientist who's being interviewed by a female reporter. There had been mentioned that the sheriff had talked to this reporter the day before. Her name is Simone Jennings.
You wrote it down.
The scientist, the cryptozoologist is Trent Grover. He gives us basically, he's clearly a crazy person.
Yes.
But he gives us like this is why the movie's happening. He pulls out this footprint. He's like, I made this cast because there was a scene we forgot to mention where he goes and makes a cast of the footprint. He goes, this is clearly an adolescent male Sasquatch. It's not fully grown. It's mating season.
Like, watch out.
They're extremely, he goes, they're extremely volatile, especially when they're horny.
Especially when they're horny.
And she's like, what? And then he starts telling like these random stories. And none of these are things I'm making up. This is all shit that was literally things he says. He goes, they're very smart. I taught a Bigfoot to play catch in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. He lived with a colony of them for a year in Washington. She's like, wait, what? He goes, they love garlic and hot dogs and they mimic humans. And I'm like, are they setting something up? Like are like they making them Italian because they love garlic or something? He once saw one using a urinal and he taught one to play Iron Man on a ukulele.
I like that one.
And I'm just like, it was all like, it's kind of funny, but it's like random as fuck. It's like Tim Hamilton wrote it. Yeah. And then she ends the interview and she was talking to Harlan. She goes, that guy was nuttier than a pound of squirrel poop.
I never heard that one.
Which I thought was...
That's the only funny joke in the movie.
Oh, is it? Might have been another funny one.
Except for his list about how they mimic humans. Because he said they're easily fooled by orange-faced TV personalities.
They'll vote for them twice, even though their first presidency was a disaster.
They all want to wear Crocs. And they all wasted their time joining LiveJournal. There you go.
Tim, what was your LiveJournal back in the day?
I don't remember. I was on there, but I don't remember.
Yeah, you were.
Do you?
That was your first... no, I don't remember yours. No. I was never on LiveJournal, so...
I think you were.
I'm safely not a Sasquatch. I wasn't.
All right.
No, it's cool. I was too cool. I was already like, this is going to suck and be embarrassing in a few years.
Let's move on. Bigfoot's Wild Weekend.
Well, wait. It's important just to mention Harlan and Simone talk, and there's clearly sparks. Harlan is the reporter, the male reporter that Tim keeps mentioning how muscular he is. Simone is the female reporter from the TV show, and they they're going to team up. We cut to the reform girls at the swimming hole because Marianne has been there before she was a reform school girl. And she goes, let's go swimming here. We get our one and only instance in the movie of Bigfoot eye view where he's we hear him breathing. Be like, I'm like, well, we know what's going to happen.
Do we?
And one of the girls is like, let's go topless. Yep. And they all take their tops off except for Marianne, who's like, I'm leaving. And she leaves and she has her glasses off because she's a nerd. She has to wear glasses, Tim. And she smells a weird smell. And she's like, is that a wet dog? And she sees Bigfoot. Bigfoot, who is like a 7 foot tall, hugely muscular ape monster. She's like, oh, is that a little dog?
More muscular than Harlan.
She goes, do you need more? Yeah, he is true. So he is less of a nerd by your and does it with glasses. And she's like, are you a dog? And Bigfoot grabs her boob and she puts on her glasses and she goes, oh, she knees him in the nuts.
Do we? Oh.
And then she
go ahead.
Yeah. Do we what? What?
Oh, well, do we? This movie does have a unfortunate framing for its humor, I'll say, which is
what do you mean?
Bigfoot just wants to have sex with everything. But we'll get.
Oh, yes. It's like What was the movie Bigfoot we watched with
the first
you? That
one.
was your choice. The tagline was Bigfoot will mate with anything.
They picked up that tagline and made it a comedy because that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, this one, Bigfoot's horny. It's as the cryptozoologist Trent Grover
he sexually
said.
assaults some people in this movie.
Yes, that's true. The girls all run away. Three of them are topless, remember? So we're treated to 3 topless and 1 nerd running through the woods.
Treated.
They run up. They're treated.
They run away and we never see them again.
No, we do.
Do we?
Because they run to their the 2 ladies who took them out there, and they all 6 of them go running away, and then we see them running past this Confederate hick guy and his son who are playing banjo, and they see the topless girls run by.
But then we never see them again.
And he goes,
I'm just saying, they were part of the plot from the beginning, and they just disappear.
Yeah, I honestly thought that they and Marianne especially were going to be the main character. This is they run out of the movie topless.
They were no longer available for filming, I think, because
the hick guy who sees them goes, I wonder what they was running from. He kind of becomes one of the main characters now.
He thinks the only thing they can be running from is Sasquatch, right?
He immediately assumes it because he pulls back. We see he's got a sign. It says the Bigfoot Hunting and UFO Society. Every word is spelled wrong except for UFO in there.
Did he spell UFO wrong?
No, he spells UFO correctly. He spells Bigfoot, BIGFUT. He spells hunting without a G. He spells society without an O. I wrote it down exactly.
It says if the shack is a rockin', don't come a knockin'. My shack.
Yeah.
Yep. And we go back, so we see Larry, Daryl, and Daryl, because
that's the 3 hicks
they're
who are out
getting their
hunting
guns together, and they're arguing about who's gonna have the most money and what they're gonna do with $25,000. I have a list of things they're gonna do.
Oh, let's hear it, Tim.
Larry, he's gonna get his teeth fixed.
Okay.
His brother Daryl, he's gonna hire someone to smash Larry's teeth because he doesn't want him to look better than him. And his other brother Daryl, he's hiring someone to smash his own teeth in because he knows his brother Larry will do that to him anyway.
Tim, that's actually better than what they came up with in the movie.
I don't remember what they came up with in the movie.
There was like something about like a weird truck, and so it just sucked.
A weird truck.
At some point, we see like he wants to buy a truck. He goes, my eyes on a truck. It wasn't funny. That was the problem. Sorry, filmmakers, for listening. Some other campers see Bigfoot.
They're cooking.
And there's like these old couple.
He was reading a Playboy, George. I'm going to spare you because I can't think of any more Bigfoot Playboy jokes.
Is that true? Was he really reading a Playboy?
He was reading a magazine, so to me, it's Playboy.
So all magazines are Playboys
in these movies.
In the Hamilton verse. Yes. Apparently, though, this is a thing where he sees Bigfoots a lot because he's like, is that a Bigfoot? And his wife's like, remember last year at the beach you thought you saw a werewolf?
Yeah.
And then
that guy.
But no, she's right because Bigfoot comes in, he scares them off. I guess it's a weird bit. They go limping off. He steals their beers. He sniffs their panties.
He sniffs many panties
upsetting.
In this movie. He puts them on his head.
Yeah, he does. And then he's trying to open the beers. And these 2 female hikers come along, and they see him from behind as he's wrestling with this beer top, and they think he's masturbating. They're like, ew. And they take a photo of him. So it's the world's best photo of like Bigfoot. It's him jerking off a beer.
Bigfoot. Fact or myth?
We check back in with Larry, Daryl, and Daryl, as Tim has named them. They're lost. They're following a trail of bottles, which I'm like, so they know Bigfoot drinks?
Bigfoot's a party guy in this movie. Drinks, sniffs ladies' underwear.
And I guess people know that. Yeah.
Every party needs beer and ladies' underwear.
I mean, that's the way parties work. Yep. We see the Skull Mountain Off-Road Rally, but it's all kids and stuff. Yeah, it's weird. There's a bunch of dirt bikes, so Tim got excited, thinking it was a real Tim Hamilton movie.
Bigfoot. You said all kids. At the beginning, there was a little kid in one of those little.
That's what I meant. Like little. It was all little kids.
Then there were older kids, like 20, because they got stuck in the woods.
Yeah, I guess. And one of them is these 2 other characters. They're in a pickup truck, and they go like they're going off to like meet the party zone with like all the guys, the older kids on bikes, and they're like, we'll get there first. We'll be so drunk.
Do you think the day dancers were just like, this is too cold, we quit? I mean, they disappeared halfway, and there's all these other people.
Do you think the day dancers were the reform school girls?
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, I think that.
Oh. I literally was thinking that the day dancers were the women who were dancing in the day in the bar, but you might be right. Yeah.
They were day dancers in real life, which is fine. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I just wonder what happened halfway through the movie. They just ran away and they had to hire a bunch of other people. Something odd happened.
a lot of our independent films, we've noticed this where like it seems like the cast comes and goes depending on which weekends they're available.
I think so.
Like you're right though. It does seem very much like this movie's being set up where like the reform school girls are going to be a major part and they do disappear. I mean, really, because they were a tight group, all it would take is one of those 6 just to be like, look, I ain't coming back to film your weird horny monkey movie. And that's the end of it. So, yeah. We should mention, so this guy and the gal in the pickup truck, their truck breaks down. Their names are Skip, that's the guy, and Patty's the girl. And they're all upset, broken down in the middle of the woods. And then the Bigfoot Society guys, who are the son and father, they come out of the woods dressed in ghillie suits.
What suits?
And ghillie suits, that's what those long, hairy, furry suits are called.
They look like Bigfoots, but they're green.
Because they get mistaken for Bigfoot a lot, Tim, do you remember years ago a man was actually killed because he was wearing a ghillie suit and jumping out of it was in a remote area and he was jumping out of the road, like into roadways, dressed in a ghillie suit, pretending to be Bigfoot, and a car struck and killed him.
I don't remember that. Thought you were going to say shot.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I assume they get shot, but don't remember
probably.
That.
Speaking of guns, though, Patty sees these 2 guys in their ghillie suits and goes, they got guns and food. We'll be safe. So they spend the night with them.
That one kid's trying to play the banjo. And he keeps saying, this is long walk for something, but his kid goofs up all the time. He goes, you ain't from my loins. I can't believe you're from my loins. Something like that.
There ain't no way you sprang from my loins.
Yeah. The kid falls on his ham bone, which I guess is the bone on your butt. It's like, Pa, got my hand stuck in the peanut butter jar again. It
really is a recurring joke that happens. It's said way too many times.
Pa, I shot my foot off in the boating accident.
At this point, we check back in with Harlan, who is our main character. He's interviewed a bunch of people.
Yeah, just like our other movies.
It's
a cuts of interviewing people that saw Bigfoot.
It's like a montage, but he reports back to his editor at the Tattletale. It's like, look, I don't think we have a story. And the guy's like, look, man, we're a fucking rag newspaper. Like, if you just need to make a photo and we'll make a story. I don't care if you have to shave 100 monkeys and glue their hair to a homeless guy. Get me my pick.
I love that line. That's a funny line.
Yeah, it was good. Then we cut back to our friends Skip and Patty, the couple in the car that broke down, and their new friends Chester and Billy Bob, who are the members of the Bigfoot Society.
Just camping in the woods near his house, to be clear.
Yeah, because I don't know, they were going to get him back in the morning. There was something before, and we learn from Chester that he's excited to hunt Bigfoot because it's personal.
Right,
and he tells the story about his brother Riff, and how it's like Riff had been disappeared in the woods. He came back all bull-looking and stuff. He had been raped by a female Bigfoot.
Did he say raped by a female Bigfoot?
Yep. Oh, actually, I think he said she had her way with him.
That makes not a lot of sense.
All over the place. But then he does say, then in order to get his head back together, he goes to the Himalayas trying to clear his head. He gets raped by a Yeti.
That's why I say this movie.
And weirdly,
okay, go ahead.
It ends there, and normally it's the rule of 3. So, Tim, I made up a list of other adventures of Riff. Okay. Are you ready? All right. 1, Riff went to Loch Ness. He got big spooned by Nessie. Yeah. 2, he went to Dover, Massachusetts, and he got little spooned by the Dover Demon. Yeah. Number 3, he went to Puerto Rico. He got a chupacabra went down in him, but he used way too much teeth.
What?
Yeah.
I don't get it, George.
Yeah, number 4.
What happened?
I know. Yeah. Number 4, he went to Michigan and he got a doggy style from the dog man.
Nice.
He went to number 5. He went to New Jersey. He got a rim job from the Jersey Devil.
I was hoping the Jersey Devil would come in.
Yep. Yeah, of course he would. Number 6, he went to Wisconsin. He got a hoedown from the Hodag.
Okay.
Number 7, he went to West Virginia. He got a confusing, esoteric premonition in the future from the Mothman. But then he also got raped by the Mothman. Yeah. Yeah. Number 8, he went to Fuke, Arkansas, and he took it up his Boggy Creek from the beast of Boggy Creek. And number 9, the final one, he went to a bar in Brooklyn and he got hit on by a clearly stoned Tim Hamilton. Yep.
Yay. I was just going to say this movie uses rape as a joke, but
yep. And that's a great time making the next bit because we cut to Skip and Patty asleep in their tent with Chester in the next tent over with his son.
Like, come on, baby.
And they're trying to get
She's
busy.
like, not here, honey. And he What's he say? Oh, he says, "Daddy needs his sugar," and I vomited a little bit.
I hate it.
He had,
I vomited.
He has
on
some
the
other
floor.
sayings that he says.
Is it your list?
He sometimes says, "Pickle needs his hamburger."
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he says, "Bozo needs his horn honked."
Whoa. Does he say hot dog needs his bun?
No.
That's I give you one of that for free.
It says, "Tin Man needs his oil can."
Man, what, Tim? What is with you and Wizard of Oz?
Everybody
Every
loves it.
week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor needs his Miss Tashmaka.
Oh. Mr. and Mrs. Spitlick needs his bowler hat.
No.
How about that? I don't even know what I'm saying.
Kitty Cat needs his litter box. Oh.
Ooh, how about Shadow Cat needs her Lockheed the Purple Dragon?
I mentioned Wizard of Oz, and you're
Tim's
just
toy.
talking about the X-Men.
I every time you mention the Wizard of Oz from now on, I'm going to start punishing you. I'm going to
You're punishing
mention
the audience.
Tim. You can't punish something that doesn't
Hamster
exist.
needs his exercise wheel. That's my last one.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. But he has to go pee. He goes outside. He puts on a brown tarp.
For some reason.
Chester, because so he could be covered completely by this brown blanket, and Chester shoots him in the butt.
And meantime, Sasquatch rapes his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's say it in a way,
Sexually
let's put it
assaults?
more in the way, it's the thing you see in these old comedies where she's laying there with her eyes closed, and he's outside yelling what am I supposed to do with this chunk taken on my ass? And the two guys are patching him up, and his girlfriend just goes back to the tent, and then Bigfoot comes up and spoons her, and as we learn later, he comes back, he's like hey, I need Pickle needs his hamburger. She's like, I don't know, I'm all worn out. When did you get so big? I'm like, ew. Now, Tim, let's take aside the idea of simian sexual assault and how it's just not funny. I have problems with just she doesn't feel okay. Little peek into my life. I sleep every night in bed next to my wife and several cats. I could reach over and I could feel my wife, and I know it's my wife because she is not covered with hair.
Right.
I touch my cats, they're covered with hair. Therefore, I do not come on to my cats. I do not make any weird moves. I know they're cats. How does she not feel that this is
It's a wacky comedy, George.
It is
Bigfoot
wacky.
drinks beer. He sniffs panties.
When they're horny.
I do want to talk about the treatment of the gunshot, because is his name Chester, the guy they meet? The guy in the woods.
Chester is the guy in the woods who shoots him.
He is like, I want to
Skip
treat
is the guy
that.
who
I got to treat that, because his girlfriend's like, I'll do it. He's like, oh no, let me.
Do you think he was into looking
It
at
was
his
just
bottom?
odd. I know they wanted the girl to go back to the tent and have sex with Sasquatch, but he was just like, oh, I'll treat it. I want to treat it. And I thought maybe this movie was going to have equal time for nakedness, but they just kind of yank his pants halfway down. Like, if you're got shot by a gun, you should take his pants off. But they just kind of yank it down. There's a little bit of blood there. And he spends a lot of time doing stuff to his butt. That's all I'm saying. I don't mind. That's their business. No. I'm just saying.
I mean, you could argue in the amount of screen time just where we see the first 2 inches of his butt. It is the most prolonged quote unquote nude scene in the film. I want to address the fact he got shot in the butt. Nobody's really concerned that he got shot.
No,
really. This is like a Looney Tunes level wound. It's like yeah, you get shot and you're just kind of oh, that hurts a little.
And he was ready to have sex again after getting shot in the butt.
Yep. Yeah, right after getting shot in the butt.
Ooh, I have written here.
I wrote about this time, man, these are good actors. We see Harlan and Simone, they're at the bar, they're talking about stuff. Their sparks are flying. They go back to his hotel. They sleep together. We don't see anything really.
He takes
we do see his shirt off.
And she doesn't. So I'm like, well, there should have been more equal
and Tim's
opportunity.
like, check out those muscles. Actually, Tim, you're right. There is equal opportunity because we don't see Simone topless, but we do see quite a bit of topless Harlan. And then in the morning, Sheriff calls. He has a tip of this woman, Sherry Lewis, who I thought was the woman who was the puppeteer for Lamb Chop. But, And he's like, this woman got up close with Bigfoot. Now, I'd already in my notes knew that it wasn't Patty who had literally had sex with Bigfoot. I'm like, oh, no, is this going to happen again? They go to a kid shop. It seems to be a real store. And this woman, Sherry Lewis, she tells the story. And it's like they do old-timey film. So she's like, there's this place I go to. It's very secluded. I could do anything there. I feel very safe.
So what does she do?
So she gets topless, which is like, but then she got completely nude.
Yep. Alert, Mr. Kevin
while she was there?
Cablasto.
Cablasto, yep. And then Bigfoot steals her panties. I'm like, what? I'm like that's she doesn't see Bigfoot really. She kind of sees him from behind, like the sun's behind him, so she can't see it. But she's like, but there was a big footprint. They're like, okay. And then they're like, well, let's go find Bigfoot.
Yeah,
they go to a supply store. The guy there who works at the supply store tells them, hey, you should go to the swimming hole. That's where people always go to. They meet these two stoners there.
Yeah, they're like new characters.
Yeah.
They should have been the whole movie because they were at least a little entertaining.
Again, I think they're only available for one weekend. I think this is just the director's
Is this where they tell the
friends.
story? Like, yeah, we were out in the woods, and then they just tell a whole story about they got drunk with Sasquatch, and they dance with them.
They didn't get drunk. They got super high. They were doing bong rips.
High and drink, and then they dance with them, and he just knocks them out by accident.
Yep. And he steals one of their bongs.
And then he steals their panties.
Yep. And then they tell Harlan, if you find him, can you go get my bong back?
And my panties.
Yep.
There's just stuff.
I stopped taking
These
notes about now.
characters run into each other in the woods, like Chester.
Yeah, the
meets
group of
the other
Hicks. Larry, Daryl, and Daryl meets Chester and his son.
Farts.
They're kind of
and
like,
Lordy, what's wrong with your son? That stinks.
He says again, there's no way you
That's
came
another
from my
hint.
loins.
He stinks. Saving that spoiler.
Oh, you know what, Tim? I have to make a confession. I realized I didn't watch the last 5 minutes of this film, so the spoiler is news
What
to
happened?
me.
You fell asleep?
Something came up last night where I was like, oh, watch it in the morning, and then I never did. I just realized it now. No. I think I know what happened. I remember there's a scene where the little boy takes his shoe off.
Okay, you saw it to the end.
That was the end? Okay. You're going to take over here. My notes get really bad at this point.
Well, basically, all these people in the woods are crossing paths or hunting Bigfoot. The three brothers, they find the cave where he lives because there's like littered with panties and beer.
Panties and bras, beer bottles.
Playboy magazines.
Playboy magazines.
And
who's in the Playboy magazines?
I didn't check this week. And they like look up and like, oh my God, what's that? And they scream. And the next time we see them, they're at the bar and they're all bloody and torn up and they just like, give us whiskey.
Yeah, and we don't really see what they see. Do they see Bigfoot? They just couldn't. They didn't bother to hire a guy to put in the costume again.
They were too scared to shoot Bigfoot. They saw Bigfoot, and
I kind of thought we were going to see another monster at that point, but we didn't. Or was it going to be like,
But the older man Chester, it's personal. He finds Bigfoot and he's with the two reporters, and he wants to shoot him.
Yeah,
and the reporter says, "There's a chupacabra," and he slaps the gun out of his hand. It saves Bigfoot's life.
Yep, because he feels good about Bigfoot now for some reason.
I forget why. I think he's just like, he doesn't want to hurt anyone. He just wants to have sex. He wants to sniff panties.
He does have an epiphany where because he's a reporter dedicated to find the truth, and he says, I don't know, sometimes the myth is more important. So he wants Bigfoot to be an unknowable rather than a corpse.
I thought he said he just wants to sniff panties. Come on, leave him alone.
He just wants to sniff panties. Tim, if we shot everyone who sniffs panties, you'd be dead.
We'll get to that. So then the son, he's like, my foot itches or my foot hurts, and they take his shoe off, and he's got a hairy foot like a hobbit. So I guess his real mother is a hobbit. Yeah, kind of.
Or his real father is a Sasquatch.
Again, he told stories about his brother being raped. Are we meant to believe that he's disassociating and it was really his wife? And he's just like, yeah, Bigfoot raped my brother. You know what?
I also want to stress to people listening, it could be. Is this a list? I'm not sitting on it. I'm not stepping on it. Because like when Tim mentions the hairy foot, it's like a little patch. Yeah. It's not even as hairy as a hobbit. It's like there's like, because they mention every time Bigfoot smells, and they mention, I don't know. I want to stress also, this kid does not look like a Bigfoot. This kid looks like he's maybe got chromosome damage, but he does not look like a Bigfoot.
Anyway.
Bigfoot. Fact or myth?
So 1 to 5 stars. Did you like this?
Wait, was that really the end?
That's the end, yeah.
Oh, I did get to the end then. Oh. Did I like this? We're supposed to do this now? We're doing this 1 to 5 stars?
If you want. Our show evolves.
Let's hear it. You go first, though. Yeah.
In reality, no, just a half a star.
Half a star. Wow. I would. That seems mean for a movie that.
I don't think this was an independent dream of someone. I think this is just.
I think it was an independent film.
People. I thought it was
I
a
don't
money
know.
grab.
This is just my
type of
theory. I
movie.
don't.
When I see lots of boobs, I'm like, yeah, you just want to sell this. So
Some people's dreams are boobs, Tim. I'm gonna give it a 2 stars because it had, like, for instance, like, it was competently shot. It had sound I could understand. Like, I'm even gonna bump up to 2.5 stars. It had a lot of boobs.
Okay.
It had the very muscular Harlan.
Yeah, he was very muscular.
Yep.
On a scale of enjoyment for this podcast, I give it 4 stars. 4
out of how many?
5. 1 to 5.
4 or 5. Wow, really? Okay, good job.
Now we have the part of the show where Tim and George talk about how this movie is like Star Wars and Labyrinth.
How's it like Star Wars? Easy, George. You've probably heard this story. But Carrie Fisher, when she first worked on Star Wars, she wore a bra under that outfit, that white flowing outfit. And George Lucas said,
I assume she did.
No bras, don't wear a bra with this costume. And his reason was, there are no bras in outer space. That's what she said, George Lucas told her. You never heard this story? That's a true story.
I don't. Is this really
It's true
I'm
that she
asking
said
seriously.
this, yes. This is what Carrie Fisher said, that George Lucas told her. There are no bras
wasn't
in
she
outer
like
space.
19?
Well, likewise in this movie, George. What?
I just typed in Princess Leia no bra and it came right up in space. Far Out Magazine, why George Lucas wouldn't let Carrie Fisher wear her bra. Wow.
Well, likewise, the director of this movie, Jeff Murray, I looked up his name, he told the girls in this movie straight
Jeff
up,
Murray.
there are no bras in Bigfoot's Wild Weekend. In fact, there are no shirts either. There, that's why it's similar.
Only you could wear shirts, Simone, and you, lady at the campsite.
You wrote
The
her
one
name.
who says the werewolf bit.
That was Marianne. I just
Yeah, I did
remembered
write-
Marianne. She respected. She had respect. Wasn't taking her top off
Tim,
for anybody.
I don't like that you say that. Tim,
What?
my wife takes her top off.
Not just for anybody. That's what I mean.
She's a burlesque performer.
I know. Well,
How is this like Labyrinth, 1986's Labyrinth? I mean, there's the obvious correlations to draw between Ludo, the giant hairy guy who controls rocks,
easy.
and Sasquatch, the giant hairy guy who wants to get off his rocks.
That's easy.
And you know, I'm just going to go with that. Yep.
Supposed to dump the first one. Dig harder. Wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, I'll find you. I'll get you. I'll get you.
Revenge.
I'll get you. So now we just, revenge. Does this? I just have a quick list of reasons why it should or shouldn't have a revenge sequel. Or you may want to say, hey, someone in this movie needed to get revenge on somebody.
I actually, I thought of a whole bunch of things that needed avenging in this film.
Okay,
so.
that's your list. Go ahead. Do it.
All right.
Hit me.
So, I mean, just to, like, I feel like this movie, like all movies, does need a revenge sequel.
Like all?
Perhaps, like all movies. I don't think there exists a movie that wouldn't be made better by having a revenge sequel for it. I mean, the most obvious one, Patty, the woman who ends up unwittingly having sex with the Sasquatch. She needs to have revenge on the Sasquatch. She also needs to have revenge on Chip for just being Chip. He's just a bad guy. Oh, Skip, Chip. He looks like a Chip. Skip needs revenge for getting a chunk of his ass blown out, as we keep hearing.
I think he should get revenge on his girlfriend because she should be the one treating his butt because she cares about him. Instead, she just let a stranger in the woods.
She doesn't want to look at that.
Anyway.
Yeah. Chester, he should get revenge on his son for not springing from his loins.
Right.
A
lot of questions there.
Marianne needs revenge. Marianne needs to get revenge on the other Hyman schoolgirls for decking her books. I'm just scrolling through looking at
Someone
stuff.
needs to get revenge on whoever named that school. So
yeah, there's also that. They all need revenge to get their panties back. Yeah, so this movie I feel is crying out for revenge.
okay.
But if I had to spotlight just one person who would get revenge, it would be, I'd say, the two women in the beginning.
Really? They had a good time.
Yeah, you don't see what happens right after that ends. Bigfoot murders them both.
Why would he do that? He just wanted to party.
Because he's volatile when he's horny, Tim. That's what the cryptozoologist told us. Luckily, this fisherman, he's a skilled necromancer. He actually brings them back to life as revenants.
Okay.
but he does it a little bit wrong so that they become zombies, and their case of zombitis spreads across the entire United States. And the sequel is called The Zombies Wild Weekend.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you wrote a story.
I did.
You brought it back already.
I did. I had to. All right, Tim, what's yours?
Well, I just had a list of reasons I don't think I want to see a revenge sequel.
Let's hear 'em.
Because I don't want to see any more jokes about Bigfoot sexually assaulting anybody.
Yep, that's been in every Bigfoot film we watched, unfortunately. I think, right? I think the only one that didn't was the Danny Bonaducci, Greg
True.
Brady one.
He was
there
too
was
big.
a Danny.
He just ate people.
Yeah, he was just King Kong. But in all three other films, the idea of Bigfoot assaulting people came up, and I don't know what's up with that.
That is a disturbing trend.
Yeah, don't like it.
Particularly, I don't want to see Bigfoot get together with those stoner dudes because, and I
thought you liked this.
And
guys.
my story has a story within a story, George. Stay away from your typewriter so I could surprise you.
My typewriter.
Yes. Also, stay away from your keyboard, but stay away from your typewriter too. It's too noisy. I can hear it in the microphone. Typing up your notes.
Okay.
So I was going to write a list of weird names for panty sniffer because Bigfoot loves to smell panties in this movie. So I thought there's probably different names. I typed into the computer, and guess what I found? At least 5 sites where you, George, or me can order used panties online so you can get them in the mail and sniff them.
God, is this
Which
real?
I want to say, if that's your turn on and you're two consenting adults, no problem. But I don't know if I would order them online not knowing where they've been and, what's been done to them. But yes, you can type in the typewriter if you want.
I'm going to quote a line from this movie. It's sometimes the myth is more important. So you may get those panties. You don't know where they've really been. You don't know if they've even ever been on a human being.
Nope.
But in your mind, you could build it up. They're like, yes, these were worn
George,
by a hot and fancy babe.
Don't look.
Yeah.
I want to tell you these are real categories. You can order the ass cutter, the Calvin Klein, the coochie snatchers, I'm going to say semen stained. Like they have just
is that
called cum?
What was
cum
the real?
stained.
What was the real?
I don't know. They have your basic dirty panties, the gym thongs, and period panties. So you can order all these categories online.
Tim, what's the ass cutter?
I didn't do research
Because they had gym thong. Oh,
That's
gym
probably
thong is probably
a thong.
sweaty. Ass cutter is probably just a thong. Okay.
So that's what happened
Tim.
when I tried to write my little list. I did come upon a list. We'll get back to what you want to say about panty sniffing. But here's what happened and why I don't want to see the sequel. Because those stoner dudes, they taught Bigfoot how to type the letter E into the internet. Because they're so stoned and they couldn't teach him anything else, so that he could go to Panty Sniffer and look up categories he would want to order. So here's what he got with the letter E.
Okay. Why only the
Because they're
letter E?
stoned.
Okay.
11 panties, elk panties, elderberry panties, elderly person's panties,
Oh, here we're getting into territory.
elegant panties,
Elegant.
Ellen and Rigby
Elegante.
panties.
Well, Beatles, welcome back to the podcast. Ceaseless Beatle
Elephant
references.
panties, Ellen DeGeneres panties. What? She's nice. Come on. That's it. That's all I wanted to say was I got totally derailed because I wanted to look up the weird names for panty sniffing, and I found a whole different world out there.
I would have to say, between your panty sniffing bit and my weird cryptid sexual list, this is probably the most blue and upsetting
It's an
episode
upsetting
of Seddy
episode.
Bimco we've ever recorded.
It's very upsetting.
Don't listen to this one, folks. Just go listen to a past episode. Might I recommend Beware the Clowns?
Kevin Cablasto, if you want to, it's spelled just the way it sounds, pantysniffer.com. So just so you know, so you can get there easily.
I have to see if this is real.
You don't believe me?
I can't tell.
There's more than one, but somebody got there early and got the actual name, pantysniffer.com.
I mean,
it's real, right? You're looking?
Yep. Yeah, it's totally real too.
Whew. I just picture a lot of pink eye.
All right.
You don't know what's been going on with those panties. You don't order them online, people. Well, anyway.
All right. So did we get any mail this week, Tim?
I checked earlier and we didn't. We get so much amazing mail. Now you're getting greedy. There's nothing. Checking the mailbag.
No mail.
Nobody's getting on their typewriters like you.
Yep.
Staff your typewriters. Too loud, George.
It is
So
too
next
loud.
week,
Yes.
we had a short meeting.
Yes.
We decided.
Uh-huh.
We're doing a real theme instead of just stumbling on it like Bigfoot.
We were originally going to do no themes after our 50 nifty state
We will.
initiative, but
We'll get back to that.
We didn't last one episode. We immediately went to Sasquatches. We need themes. We crave this sort of stuff. Tim has a new theme. I'm really
1 month.
anxious to hear what his movie he's
I
choosing.
told you, don't fake it.
No, you know what the theme is? You didn't tell me the movie
the theme
was.
is superheroes. Superhero month.
So we're going to do superheroes.
Superheroes. You know what? I just chose this because I want to watch this movie for some reason. It's not
What is
the
it?
best in the series. It's not the worst in the series.
Uh-huh.
It's a movie called Superman 3
Oh,
with Mr. Richard Pryor. Is he the star or is Superman the star? I don't know.
I believe he is top
Ooh.
billed.
Wow. We'll talk about it.
Man, there's definitely an episode where we talked about Superman 3 pretty
Did we?
extensively.
Not too much.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to talk about it a lot.
I wonder why. Now, oh God, I can't believe I have to watch this again.
I haven't seen it since I was young. Have you?
I know. No, God.
By the time this comes out, that new Superman movie is out. So we'll see if people liked it or not.
Oh, how smart!
Yeah.
You're doing like a look at you.
Look at me.
Look at you doing a little. Oh man, we're gonna get so much people wanting to just hear about Superman 3. They'll be like, "What is this podcast?"
Oh, don't listen to this one. It's all panties, and sexual assault.
Skip Bigfoot's. Yeah, skip Bigfoot's Wild Weekend.
Skip
everybody.
it.
Available on Tubi. Go watch it now. Lots of boobs.
So next time, I did
Mm-hmm.
forget to mention, we will take next week off. It's the 4th of July, so we'll just take a break and watch Joey Chestnuts eat hot dogs and start Superhero Month with Superman 3. Forgot to say that. All right?
Yep. Nice.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Stay
chill.
Stay frosty.
Frosty. Go your own way.
Go your own way. I gotta look up other Fleetwood Mac songs.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line, it's a party line.
Professor,
Yes.
why this strain of recent activity?
Well, this time of year is their mating season. I wouldn't confront one, as they're liable to be extremely volatile, especially when they're horny.